Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back for another live stream on the channel. Tonight we are back with League 2 Live. 34 goals across 12 games, across 2 scintillating days of action. We had Derby Day Delight. We had Chesterfield hit 5, Carlisle win the derby, while Walsall and Gillingham maintain perfect starts. We had last-minute heartbreak for some, or both, some can say as well. To join us to go through all the action on Sky Bet League 2 is our partner in crime, Mr. Josh Talks, EFL. How are we doing?
Hello. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay in the chat down below as well. And we've got 12 games. We're going to run it slightly differently. We will come to your guys' comments now. Good evening. Hello, AJW. Hope we're well. Oh, it's League One. See, this is why I'm not no good at double shows, you see.
Do you know
Thanks
what, mate? I even missed that out as well.
There you are. There we are. All changed. Thanks very much. Good evening, lads. Hello, Ali. Welcome back to the show. Some strange results already this season. Looks forward. What's going on at MK Dons? Absolutely so. If you could drop me a like while you are in the chat as well. Last video that we did last week was the third show, and it's the first one to gather over 1,000 views. So slowly but surely, yeah, viewing figures aren't as good as the League One ones. We'll get there. Talk to me about your weekend, because it wasn't just a 5-goal thriller, was it?
No, mate. You know what? I was just saying to you off stream that the football kind of ruined my weekend. Had a lovely trip down to London on Friday. You know, scorching hot sun. Went to a music festival, good vibes, and then went to Grimsby on 3-hour kips, and we'll talk about that in a bit, how that went down.
Yeah, absolutely so. So we've got a running order to go in tonight as well. Perfect. So let us know how your team did this weekend. Now we're going to run it where we do 6 games each. We're going to look at, so I'll do a bigger analysis than Josh on one game, and I'll have 30 seconds from Josh at the end, and same vice versa. We're going to start off with Crewe 0, Chesterfield 5. Nobody saw that one coming, I don't think, in a month of Sundays, did they? You know, Berry getting 2 goals as well. I'm a big fan of him. He was at Macclesfield, a couple of years ago, and really in the Northwest Counties showed his worth, I think, there. Getting a brace the other day. Then when you're getting Will Gregg, Naylor, Dobra, all getting on the score sheet, it's a good sign, especially your centre forwards as well. So 5-0. After 1 minute, it's 1-0. And then 11 minutes, 2-0. 12 minutes, 3-0. Bit like Peterborough scored 2 consecutive quick goals. Shows me a bit of worry that the heads of Crewe went down. This is a team that got to the playoff final 3 months ago, and there's not been a huge turnover. There's been a few. They've lost some key players, don't get me wrong. But it's not a side that really look like they did 3 months ago, because I'd say Crewe made the name over being hard to beat, good at home. The other day, they had 38% of possession, didn't dominate proceedings, had 5 shots on target still, but Chesterfield had 11 shots on goal, expected goal of 1.47, so they've massively, 3.5 times nearly, times that, nearly double the amount of passes, and they just look so passive. 4-0 at half-time. And then you think, well, keep it tight. And then you could score just after half-time as well. Chesterfield into the playoffs with that win. 1-1 draw last weekend as well. How important do you think that is, Josh, for the season? Because you've got Salford, Gillingham and Grimsby all coming up. Port Vale not too long away. It's a great win for them. Paul Cook is experienced at this level. You look at the squad the other day, the likes of, we've just mentioned, Dobra, McCardendry, I think is his name, Berry, Grigg up front, all getting a goal contribution of somewhat sort. And then you've got like O'Darker, Banks, Dunkley, Naylor, Daly Campbell, Gordon, Boot in goal. It's a really talented individual squad, isn't it?
100%. And I think from a Chesterfield perspective, it was almost a much needed win. I think last week the performance against Swindon I don't think was good enough, and I think that they did let themselves down a little bit. They would have went into that game, thinking that they were gonna thump Swindon. Obviously, last season coming up with 106 goals, but I mean they've got their shooting boots back all right, and like you say, their front line is ridiculous. And the signing, I think if his name is Markandale, I think that's how you pronounce it. The signing of him from Blackburn, I mean, he's a big name player in this league. He hasn't really done too much to warrant kind of the shouts which he's getting of him being a championship player, but I mean, one game in, we've seen that he's going to be a mega signing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. How worried are you for Crewe? Because conceding 5 goals, last year they won a lot of tight games. And last year they made the name from, I think they collected 21 points from losing positions last year. When they go a goal down, early on, you think, loads of time in this. This is where Crewe will come at us. 2-0, you think, right, okay, reset. They were still in the game. 30 seconds later, you're out of it, aren't you?
I think my issue with Crewe is going into the playoffs, obviously, where they got to the final and they turned their form around a little bit. They were dreadful towards the back end of last season. And then when you mix that in with sort of a playoff hangover, I feel like they're almost in a recipe for disaster. And it is possible that they could spiral downwards.
Yeah, absolutely so. 5-0, great result. The result of the weekend. But I think Walsall will have something about that. Josh Gordon and Jamil Matt both scoring. Josh Gordon had 1 goal in 40 games prior to this. Finally broken that duck. And he only started 7 games last year due to injury not being started. Performances might have not been up there as well. Good to see him score. Jamil Matt did last 75 minutes in this one as well. 4 different goal scorers, 4-0. Swindon looks so shaky defensively. Time and time again, Walsall could have had more. Great away following. Good 7,500 crowd for the opening game at home at the county ground for Swindon. It's just, that is why Swindon have been where they are in the last few years, because when they were at Chesterfield last week, got a great point. Coming from behind, Chesterfield away, I'd say was probably the top 3 hardest games you could get, especially away from home. Cold as sun atmosphere, you could say. Poor from Swindon, brilliant from Walsall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start off with Swindon because I agree with you about their defence being shaky. I mean, if you actually take a look at their defence and names in there, Jeff King, don't rate him. Will Wright, great defender for this level, and then you've got Grant Hall, who's for me his legs are gone. He was at fault for the first goal. Got Miguel Freckington, who I wasn't too pleased with in the National League last season. I thought he looked quite poor, and you got Longelo, who I'm on the fence with. So I think as a back 5 straight away, I feel like they're almost set to fail. I feel like Bycroft kept them in that first half massively. He made 2 great saves before any of the goals went in. And then, yeah, man, Walsall ran right. I'm looking at the stats. 18 shots on goal compared to Swindon's 7. Walsall had 7 shots on target. That's how many shots in the game Swindon actually had. And then on top of that, 1.70 XG to 0.26. So mightily deserved. And I mean, we spoke a few weeks back about Walsall and where the goals were going to come from, obviously only having 3 strikers contracted to the club. Like you say, that's not an issue at the moment. They've got goals coming from everywhere, 4 different goal scorers on Saturday. And I mean, 2 wins from 2. Walsall are looking very strong at the moment.
Absolutely. Please keep liking the stream as well. Get your comments in as well. That is greatly appreciated. And what a result for Colchester. Now, winning 2-0 against MK Dons. In that first half, Colchester only completed 82 passes in that first half. MK Dons, totally dominant, had 4 times as many on 228. And the expected goals are combined of 0.43. So it wasn't a thriller. MK Dons didn't have a shot on target. All the possession, and yet again you saw in another game, Notts County having 81% of possession yesterday and not getting maximum points. And then what I thought Colchester did on the ball was perfect. And they get a goal through Reed and Jack Payne at the end as MK Dons are flooding for a winner. But that second half, Colchester, yes, they only had 31% of the ball, but they had 6 shots on target. MK Dons only had 3. And this is an MK Dons team that have got a lot of new players, the likes of, Tom Carroll, the likes of Callum Henry, Sam Sherring, those types of players. And it's up to the other lads that were there last year, like the likes of Lewington, Tucker, those types of players to step up, really. And they failed to do so. Callum Henry pressed really well, ran really well from reports. Got a little bit of stick by the manager, Mike Williamson, in the pre-match presser as well. Great result. That's a typical Danny Cowley performance. And MK Dons went to Colchester last year in the last minute and won. Jack Payne, again, showing his worth. Already got 2 assists and a goal. And what a goal it was. McGill couldn't keep it out.
Yeah, I think Colchester. That's what we're going to expect from them this season. They're going to be hard to beat at home, and they've assembled a really good League Two side. And obviously under the Cowleys, that they're going to be, tough to beat. I think for MK Don's point of view, it's pretty similar to Crewe. The fact that there's a little bit of a playoff hangover there, obviously had a solid season last campaign, but fell short. And then bringing in so many players, like you say, it's new faces, and it's going to take time to gel. And it is on those players who were there last season to kind of pull them through it and make sure that they can play the football which they want to play and get the results which they need to get, to be honest with you, because at the moment they're sitting in the relegation zone, and for MK Dons that's not good enough.
Woodward, Tom Hopper, Jack Payne, Teddy Bishop, Flanagan, just a few of the 11 that started the other day. Matt Macy in goal, Danny and Nicky Cowley in there as coaches. How far can this Colchester team go? Because we saw in the first 10 minutes last week what they could do, and then they fell to pieces a little bit. But this one, a really good performance to stick in the game, limit MK Dons' chances, because over the course of the season, MK Dons will get better. As we saw last year, they went on a good run towards the middle part of the season to cement a playoff place, and just at the end, maybe faltered a little bit, missed out on automatics. This Colchester team, great win. And then the signing of Teddy Bishop, I'd say, was the signing where people stepped up and thought, this team is serious.
Absolutely. And whatever I just said is gone completely out of my brain. What I was going to say is, for me...
Not on TikTok now, son.
I've got camera shy again. No, for me, they're a top 7 side, and for me, it's a statement. It's almost a statement win for the rest of the league. They're going to take a look at that, and if you are going to play MK Dons, you want to play them now, whilst obviously it is all fresh and it's all new. But for the rest of the league, it sends out a message that Colchester are here to play, and they're not here to mess around. A
crazy game, and between two of the the smaller weights in the EFL, but so good to see both of them in the EFL, in Accrington Stanley and Harrogate Town. 1,900 of fans packed into the WAM. Got to see a 6-goal thriller. And Harrogate started off well, Daly getting an early goal, and then Walton equalising, Josh. And then you're thinking, when Taylor puts, Harrogate into that 2-1 kind of lead, 4 minutes after Accrington have equalised, bear in mind as well. Knowles and Mooney, 2 goals in 2 minutes as well. Walton adding to his goal as well. And then Lorraine, I think, is it, with the last minute, 93rd minute equaliser, an absolute thriller. Talk me through this one.
Well, I'll talk you through the first goal, if you've seen it, Ben. Long throw into the box, 6 headers, and then the 7th header finally finds its way into the back of the net. Probably won't find a more League Two goal than that one. And then obviously it turned into a crazy game, back and forth. Accrington get back into it. It's 1-1, a goal from Jack Walton, who looks like a really, really solid pickup from Accrington, by the way. And then obviously Ellis Taylor puts Harrogate back into league with a wonder strike, by the way. I don't feel like that's been talked about enough this weekend.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, Accrington then take the lead with 2 quick-fire goals, and then last-minute goal from Lorraine. Brilliant ball into the box by Sims. And yeah, it looked like a really, really good game. On the base of stats, it looks like Accrington have turned into a bit of a ball playing side, 66% possession. And they did a lot with it, to be fair to them. 23 shots on goal, 9 on target, and actually of 1.91 compared to Harrogate's 0.5.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to mention that as well. And, Accrington obviously got hammered at Doncaster last week. 7 goals conceded. Is that a worry for Accrington Stanley? Because yes, they scored 3 in this one. Defensively, need to be a bit better, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. It is a massive worry defensively. But, I mean, on the flip side, you could say they've gone and scored 3 goals. So, going forward, they're exciting. But they definitely need some more defensive reinforcements for me. Obviously, last season, losing some big players like Brad Hills and losing the keeper, obviously, and Toby Savin.
Crewe or Swindon, we'll have a look at that, and I'm sure when we do predictions at the end as well. Good evening, guys. Hello, thank you for joining the stream. Didn't see a 6-goal thriller, either did I, Ali. I think we will have a proper score update at the end of next week's show, where we are after the first 3 games as well. Again, different angles are showing that. We will come to that at the end as 0-0 draws go by. Next up was Fleetwood Town away at Notts County. Notts County 2, Fleetwood Town 2. Fleetwood Town 19% of possession, although did cause Notts County some pressure. Notts County got the ball out to starman Jody Jones, 24 goal contributions last year, just assists, that is, bear in mind. I could see why when he's taking all the left-hand corners, the right-hand corners, all the free kicks, all the penalties. He's like, wow, this boy is like, the one who takes the football into school, and he's so talented, and he's like, I'm on everything. But no, every time he got the ball, whether it be right foot or left foot, he played a lot on the left last year. On the right-hand side, Mackenzie Hunt, wow, he was frightened. We had to change fullbacks. Fleetwood made 4 subs at one point, but it was Fleetwood who went into an early lead. Ryan Graydon scored his first goal of the League Two season as well. Mackenzie Hunt's second assists in consecutive games. Fleetwood stuck in there till half-time and doubled the money through Brendan Wirradu after Ryan Graydon was denied by Alex Bass in the Notts County goal. After that, it was all dominant. Brendan Wirradu pulling up injured just shortly after that. Jatta scoring his 6th League Two goal in 12, maintaining that 1-2 record that he started off from last year, 5-10. They made, when they're bringing Trezola on, when they're bringing Matty Palmer, Scott Robertson are all coming on, David McGoldrick at the end as well. The bench yesterday was unbelievable at Notts County. It's like the depth on it was crazy. Obviously you got Crowley in there in the midfield as well, running the show. Fleetwood sat back. Unfortunately, we did that a lot last year. Lincoln, I think, was one. There's a couple of games where, unfortunately, we lost the games from doing that. I don't think we had any other option. I thought they were always going to dominate proceedings. And then a foul in the box from Cole Johnston. Did you think it was a penalty, Josh?
Wow, this is the thing. I told you off stream, but I actually forgot to watch the highlights of that game. This is the issue with all the games being on different days. But I get my schedules mixed up. I have seen it though, and from the angle I've seen, I'm genuinely not sure. I've seen them given and I've seen them not given. So the jury's out on it, to be honest with you, mate.
I thought it was a penalty. I think it's soft. I think it's one of those. It's a push in the back, and it's like it's. Yeah, it's a quick foul.
Just butt in on that. I feel like it's one of those where if it's a team like Notts County, a team who are at home with a big fan base,
5,500 behind goal. Yeah,
exactly. They get given. I think it's that sort of case.
And it's a good penalty, and I thought Fleetwood did very well. Last year would have caved and lost that game. A lot of blocks in there. Grit, determination. 4 points from 2 games. That's a positive. From Grimsby at home, Notts County.
I'll say it again. I think Fleetwood, I mean, the reinforcements they brought in, I think, are really good additions for a League Two squad. And I do think that, given time under Adam, I do think you'll be up there come the end of the season because, 1 to 11, I think you've got a really solid squad for League Two.
What's the minimum you expect from Notts County? Because Stuart Maynard came in last year, maintained the way they played, a lot of possession in the first 2 games. Only got 2 points from Tranmere and Fleetwood. You'd be thinking minimum 4, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think for Notts County, they're still nursing the loss of Macaulay Langstaff. Obviously, last season got 20, 28, 29 goals, and Jatta, like you said, he's got 6 in 12, but he's not that fox in the box which Langstaff was, and we're hearing rumours that Crowley and Jones could be leaving, and that's 2 of their most creative players. Obviously, they have a lot of possession, but at the moment they're not showing a lot for that possession. So, I mean, we're 2 games in, so it's too early to be speaking about. But I'm not going to say it's worrying times, but I'm going to say that I think they'll grow into the season.
A lot of the time yesterday, they did miss a Langstaff in there. I thought I like a fox in the box type of player. And yes, I had a lot of possession. I'm ultimately so proud of the boys that they stuck in there. No Ronan Coughlin and Brendan Wirradu went off injured yesterday. Brendan's fine, I believe, which is good. He did nurse an injury, did come back on. And my first worry was I don't think we should risk it. And it almost felt like we're down to 10 men yesterday. That's how it felt, the game. I thought Notts County dominated everything. I wouldn't have moaned if they'd have won it because probably they deserved to. They only had 8 shots on goal for all the pressure. Too many times they were shooting at wrong time. Fleetwood defence, Fleetwood brilliant. Another thriller was a 5-goal thriller. And I will come back to your question very shortly, Tony, as well. Not forgot about that. It was Grimsby Town 3, Cheltenham 2. Grimsby 2-0 up. Cheltenham showing enormous character to get back in. but you suffered late heartbreak yourself. Do you want to rant to me or just talk to me about it? You
Yeah,
fire away.
I'll talk to you about it. So obviously, first away game of the season. Notoriously, we're not great away from home. We're not great at Grimsby. The only time I can remember us winning against Grimsby was when Aaron Down scored back in the National League. So me and the boys weren't going into the game with too much hope. And to be honest with you, I don't think we played too badly first half. I don't think we played too badly throughout the game, to be honest, mate. It was a bit of a scrappy one, and you know, we had our chances in the first half. Lewis Payne went through on goal and lost all composure and put it into Rosette. And Bowman had a good chance with a header, but obviously give away silly fouls out wide. And when you got Charles Vernon putting in a ball, you know, there's going to be danger. So go into half time 1-0 down, and it's frustrating because we conceded late into the first half again, similar to Newport, and then come out second half, you know, keep it tight first 5-10 minutes, you know, make sure you go back into the game, and then we get caught out in a turnover of possession, quick transition and attack, get the ball out to Vernon, and then I mean there's not really much you can do when Vernon's striking them from 25 yards into the top corner. I've watched it back and I watched it in real time, and what's really frustrating is that we had 2 or 3 chances to be cynical. I'm all for professional fouls if you do it in the right manner, and I feel like that was a case where we should have done it, and if we was a bit more streetwise, we wouldn't have conceded. And then years gone by, that game would have ended 3-4, 5-0. But 15 new faces, I believe, compared to last season's squad on Saturday, and
Wow.
they showed enormous character getting back into the game. Luke Young, I'm not going to say a good strike from the edge of the area because I think it was a poor strike. I think Jordan Wright should be doing much better with it. And then the pressure was really on. We grew into the second half, and then Arkal Jude Boyd, what a signing, by the way. He's going to be a player, and ultimately we're probably going to sell him for about 10k when he'll be worth about 100 times more than that. But he puts in a hell of a cross. Matty Taylor at the back post, and what Matty Taylor does, grabs the equaliser, and then kind of when we scored, we all kind of had this feeling that there was one more goal in this game, and then when Grimsby go ahead in the 93rd minute on attack and we take their man out. And then you've got Jordan Davis stepping up to the mark in the perfect position.
Yeah.
Kind of had 3-2 written all over it, and that was that. So, I mean, I said in the TikTok, which I ranted about, that it's obviously frustrating to lose, but if we're going to lose games like that, I'd rather it happen now and it gets stamped out now rather than 3-4 months down the line.
Yeah, well, it's a story of former Wrexham players and current Wrexham players. Jordan Davis and Luke Young were obviously both, I think, at Wrexham together, weren't they? Jordan Davis, experience at this level, very, very good signing. The only question mark was over his signing was, because he signed him before last week, was I think he only started 1 game for Wrexham last year. Came on in a few games, and the stats, 13 shots to 8, 6 shots to 2. You scored your both shots on goal. I think you scored your only shot against Derby last year. And look, you've already scored the same amount of goals as what you did in your first 15 games last year. You are going to have a go this year. Flynn, I think, is very much like Darrell Clark in personality, that hard-working. You want to get the fans off the seat. This is the hard-working place. This is where people pay this, money to come and watch football. And I think have you got to the point like me? You're not bothered if Cheltenham win that. You're quite happy with that performance on Saturday because the players give the damn. The players went to the end. There was an opportunity for you at full time with 5 minutes to go. You're in that ground going, we could win this. We could get a point very likely. We could lose it. That last season, we didn't have enough of it at Fleetwood and at Cheltenham. And yesterday, I was stood in the stand, and my view from the stands was, there you are, Tony, I've used your line, was I'm really proud of them for putting the bodies on the line, the blocks on the line. Look, for me, I think that's really bad when you come into terms with, well, all we care about if they care and they're doing the job. But that's the standards that have been set at our clubs in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on there. I mean, from our perspective, I mean, we went 11 games without scoring. Obviously, Wade Elliott was sacked after 5 or 6 games, and ultimately, A, the squad wasn't good enough last season, but B, it almost seemed like they weren't trying at times. And I mean, I think now we've got like 3 lads left from last season, and it's been a complete overturn. But last week, I mean, swings and roundabouts, we got the 96th minute winner against Newport, and you could just see how much it actually, meant to the lads. And it's a new group. It's new. It's exciting. So 100%. I'll take this over what we were served up last season. Albeit if we do, concede late, at least we can see that they're trying and they will dig in deep.
Absolutely. Chesterfield fan, not getting too carried away. Great start, though, Chris. Let us know your thoughts on the game on Saturday. How long is Ronnie Coughlin out for? I don't know. I just knew before the game he's not playing. Joey's still out on Elliot Bonds. Early days, not sure. He got booked yesterday, you'll be pleased to know.
How many fouls was it?
Oh, there was one, right. When they were running down wing and Bonds was on him, and he was like, I was like, do not touch him. Do not touch him. Just let... Right. But yeah. Hello, Luca. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining the stream, mate. Hope you're well. League 2 is off to a good start. Thank you for all the members coming in. Channel 72. Can't wait to sign him. Obviously, Arch Boy. For £3.40 with your club card.
Yeah, £3.50 is generous from you boys.
So anyone who watches these streams, and if you haven't liked today's stream, or if you're new to the channel, subscribe for these League 2 lives. They are every Monday. Knows I'm a bit of a sad case. Now, I could have watched Portsmouth. I could have watched Leeds. I could have watched the start of the Premier League season, Ipswich Liverpool. I could have watched Charlton. Could have watched Shrewsbury Peterborough. I decided to watch Carlisle United 1, Barrow 0, Cumbrian Derby, in a game that I thought I could actually talk about this. So I gave it myself, Josh. It was a good game, don't get me wrong. Limited opportunities. I thought Carlisle were fantastic in what they wanted to do. They pressed very well. They got midfielders running forward. I'll say this now. I thought Josh Vale was the best player on the pitch. And I can't believe I'm saying that after last season. But he was brilliant for Carlisle. And he really rang the strings and pushed Barrow back. Now, the goal is a long ball forward from Carlisle. Barrow at this time are on a rare kind of attack. And Theo Vassell, the hero last week, who got a goal, only got one goal last year, kind of goes to shield the ball and trips up. And then is it Adji Boy? Is it, what's he called?
Adji.
Yeah, Adi Adjei with the goal. It's a great finish. He's gone to kind of through Farman, and it's kind of gone through under his arm, near his stomach. I think Farman should be stronger and should save it, if I'm honest with you. But after that, I thought it was a pretty poor affair between two teams that haven't won for a while, but Barrow won last week, so you wouldn't be able to tell that. Carlisle's first win on a Saturday, I think, for 344 days at home. So that says everything. They've kind of relied on away wins at Bolton, Peterborough to kind of get them up and running, really. They won at Burton away on a Tuesday night as well. But I think it's the first one at home since New Year's Day. So it's important they got that win. So well done for them. Barrow did have a late goal. Andy Dallas on loan from Barnsley. He only scored one goal last year. Limited opportunities. I think he had a loan spell in January as well. It didn't really work out for him. He looked onside to me. And 96th minute in a derby, fans to the right-hand side go absolutely mental. Probably will be injustice because I thought Carlisle looked settled in the game. But that's the story. When you're 1-0 up, it can happen and teams can hurt you. Luckily for Carlisle, it got disallowed. Did you think it was off?
I've only seen it from the highlights on YouTube. I haven't seen any other angles of it. And to be honest with you, mate, I genuinely don't know if it's offside or not. I think it's a great header first and foremost, but I've got no clue if it's offside. My favourite thing about it though was Carlisle's tweet. Unbelievable tweet that was from them.
Yeah, Barrow think they've equalised. It's got disallowed. Unlucky lads. Why can I say, right, they'll play each other in what? January, February, March time maybe next year. Why can I see at the end of the next game, Barrow winning that game 2-1 or 2-0 and just putting in unlucky lads.
Unlucky lads. Yeah, 100% it's happening, yeah.
Good things come to those that wait, young Kershaw. I will give you a little text after this show. And as we do so, good time for you to join. As you could talk me through, Josh, Newport County 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. Jack Kershaw is the biggest Doncaster Rovers fan you will ever meet.
And his favourite player doesn't even play for them anymore. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's got a new one now. They've got the one who scored.
Mate, crazy result to be fair to him. I think that was probably for me result of the day. I saw bookies had Donny winning under even, so it shows what they made of that game. I mean, 46 to 54% possession. You could say, you know, ball playing was even. 1.76 to 2.03 xG. I mean, chances for both sides in that game. First and foremost, the Donny goal. I thought Townsend, for me, he's not a very good keeper at all, and Newport definitely need to go in for somebody else, because I thought he was really poor last week. I think he's been poor for a few years now, and I don't think he dealt with the cross very well at all. Ball forced to Owen Bailey, and what a strike, by the way, not taking anything away from the strike, but Townsend's got to be better. And then second half comes around, and it was the Bobby Camwa, who I mentioned last week. He looks unbelievable, by the way. The Kai Whitmore and the Courtney Baker-Richardson show, all combining for both goals, actually, all three of them. First one is a great ball in from Camwa, and I think Richardson gets a touch on it after some good work from Whitmore to win the ball back. And then the next goal, Camwa wins the ball back, offloads it to Baker-Richardson. Whitmore goal, another goal, which I don't think has been spoken about this weekend. It was a sensational strike. And then third goal, set piece. Donny aren't out quick enough, don't deal with it, and it's an easy goal for Baker. And I think genuinely 2 games in, and I know I keep saying that it's too early to, you know, kind of speak about things, but I think everybody wrote Newport off a little bit early, because I said last week I thought they looked quite good against us, and you know, Donny, a team who everyone's expected to be up there at the end of the season, they've kind of, you know, run away with it a little bit in that game.
Do you think there's likenesses to Crawley? You know, Yardim's gone in there. Obviously, you know, Scotland's had a bit of time before the previous season, so he obviously had a bit more time to implement his style. And he kind of come in, the middle of July time? 3 or 4 weeks before the season? So, and he said he wants to dominate possession, and he's matched teams in his first 2 weeks. He's been away from home, and he's played, in my opinion, I'd say the second or third best team on paper in this league. And I'd actually say I think that anyone that finishes above Doncaster will win the league at this moment in time, although they lost. It was really good to see Owen Bailey score again, because that boy is talented. And Bobby Camwa has struggled at previous clubs, but it's a great, you know, cutting for him. And then, you know, Nelson Yarden comes out, and what they've lacked in previous is that relationship with the fans. I think Graham Coughlin, he's a decent manager, but he's not that unity, is he? He's quite, not stubborn, but he's a bit, I don't think he's right for a Newport County. And they've lost 10 games previously to that. What did they lose? Last 8 games of last year?
Yeah, 8 in a row.
And it's like they lost in, obviously, the cup. And it's like, it's a massive win. That's exactly what he said. We know it was going to be a difficult game. And he mentioned, I'm just pleased for the fans. They've waited a long time for this. The support had been magnificent. And there was a good crowd there. There was nearly 5,000 there. And Newport County, you know, can be a really, really hard place to go to. And again, Grant McCann wasn't happy with the second half. He said, first half, they were excellent. Second half wasn't so good. This Doncaster team have come back from worse. Obviously, they're strong at home. They've won the last 8 home games, not including playoff football. How important next week? I think they play Morecambe at home. Is that game for you?
I think they just need to bounce back, really. And I mean, with all due respect to Morecambe, you probably couldn't pick a better fixture to, you know, bounce back from. Obviously, we know they did Accrington over last week, and I think it's going to be a similar sort of story in that game to what it's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always loved Owen Bailey. Yeah, I know a keeper they can have. There you are. Next up, Morecambe 0, Gillingham 1. Now, Gillingham in previous years have lacked goals. They scored 82 goals in the previous 92. They've already scored 5 in the first 2 here. And it was a late goal from George Lapsley. Again, I can't pronounce, can I? Again, it was a great little volley. It wasn't, you know, a spectacular goal, but a poacher's finish from a defensive type player as well. The Gills were, in my opinion, second best. I thought Morecambe were much better in that game than they were previously. Like, look, they've still not tested the goalkeeper enough. Gillingham have dominated in terms of shots on target, shots, you know, block shots and possession waste. Kind of was quite even. Morecambe just lack goals, don't they? And at this moment in time, you need to keep clean sheets. And they're probably thinking that last 50 minutes, stay in the game and see if we can nick something. You look at the team, And I looked at it, before doing some prep. Hallam Hope, Harvey McCadden, G1 Edwards, and Ben Tollett. Tollett is probably the nearest likely goal scorer. Then I'm thinking maybe a Callum Jones, a Jan Sanogo, who's the centre of David Tatonda, defensive type players. The number 9, Hallam Hope, doesn't inspire me. When you look at Gillingham's team, you're looking at Wakeling, you're looking at Johnny Williams, you're looking at, Lapsley obviously got the goal, Hawkins, John Nolan. There's lots of options there, and that's the difference in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it is the quality in the two sides, and I agree with you. I think Gillingham were a bit lackluster on Saturday, and they kind of really only grew into the game after they got the goal. And from a Morecambe perspective, I think it was a really, really poor goal to concede. I can't remember who it was, but somebody had like a massively shanked shot, which looked like it was going out for a goal kick, and they just didn't defend it well enough, and they were second best to the ball. Ball comes back, and I think keeper makes a good save, and then ball comes back in again, then Lapsley's on hand to turn it in, and then they had another chance to go and score, and they hit the bar. And it's disappointing from a Morecambe point of view, because it would have been a great point for them. And they did have a chance to go and lead. Obviously, Edwards had that strike which went just wide, and if that goes in, you're looking at a different game, because I think. I don't know if it's called the Mizuno anymore. I always call it the Mizuno or the Globe. But,
MizunoMobile.com.
I think it's a tough place to go and get results, to be honest with you, man. I think if they could have went into the game 1-0 up into half time, I think they hold on to that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Lapsley, a midfield type player that can do defensive work as well. Mainly favoured as a number 10 nowadays. He just needs to add more goals this game. I think he's only scored 7 goals in the last 3 seasons, and he was at Mansfield previously as well, wasn't he? Tell you what, we will come to the comments. Please keep liking the show. We're currently at 24 likes. Can we try and get to 40 likes by the time? It's really easy to do. Hit a like. Bromley 2, Wimbledon 0. Great result for Bromley. 2-0. That's what you want to see. Michael Cheek, the absolute hero. What a finish, by the way. And I mentioned last week, he's not scored under 13 goals for the last 11 seasons. Yes, it's been National League South and National League. He's stepped up and scored 2 goals in 2. And a goal scorer is a goal scorer at any level. Let's be honest with you. It's one level up, and they're on the honeymoon period right now. But this is same old, same old. Let's talk Wimbledon, and then we'll give Bromley the credit finally. Last year, Wimbledon was strong at home. They won 12 of their games last year at home. Away from home, they were a bit weak, a bit under the thumb. And Johnny Jackson needs to make sure that sorts itself out.
Yeah, I've already seen. I've seen Wimbledon fans calling for his head already, saying he's going to be gone by Christmas. I mean, looking at the game, it was a bit of a scrappy, dead game, to be honest with you. Wimbledon dominated the ball, but didn't do too much with it. Had 10 shots, 4 on target, but couldn't ultimately find the breakthrough. They hit the post early on. But yeah, I mean, as for Bromley, I mean, what can I say about them? I've just made a TikTok on them. A lot of people write them off because they haven't heard of Bromley as a football club. They haven't heard of any of Bromley's players. 9 of the starting 11 from Saturday played in the playoff final against Solihull. So obviously there's a continuation in the side which Andy Woodman trusts. He backs his boys, and rightfully so. 2 games played, 4 goals scored, 0 conceded. They're tight-knit unit. Last season conceded 49 goals in the National League, which was the second least amount conceded. And then we go on to Michael Cheek, as you said, bagsman at every level. And what I really liked about his goal on Saturday is that he wins the ball back for Bromley. He nicks in, he links up, I think it was with Corey Whiteley, and then he continues his run. He's 32 years old, and he's a big lad, and he's bombing down the pitch, and he makes a great run. It's a great ball, and then the finish is ridiculous as well, to on the angle to go into the far post. And I think Bromley are going to have a real good go of it this season. I don't see them in any danger of going down. I know it's early to say, but a comfortable mid-table team for me.
Wimbledon had 62% of possession. It was an even game on stats, but they took the moments difficult time. They scored 10 minutes before half-time, I think 15 minutes after half-time, and scored at key times in the games. And if you could do that regularly in the season, just before and just after half-time, to take the sting out of any game plan from the opposition. 4 goals scored, 2 clean sheets is vital. We do normally see teams that go up. I think you remember where Hull only had about 12 players, and they won the first 2 or 3 games of the Premier League. So they beat Leicester, the reigning champion in the Premier League. But let's go more modern times now. Crawley in League One have won their both opening games and are favoured to come down. Mansfield have taken 4 points. Stockport in a different category because they're unreal. And Wrexham are the same, 6 and 4 points. And, all the teams are unbeaten coming up as well. Chesterfield and Bromley are unbeaten as well. Then you look at the teams that have gone up. Oxford have got a win. Derby have got a win. And Portsmouth are unbeaten. Do you think this is just a honeymoon phase coming up? Or do you think with these clubs that have come up, Chesterfield, and more so Bromley, because that's who we're talking about, do you think it's sustainable? Because they're not going to win every week, but can they get enough points on the board? Because I think definitely for me, because... Not just because I think they've got the character and the belief of the players that have come up, which is crucial because you don't want a high turnover when you won promotion because you want that momentum to keep you up. It's how important it are when the players do slowly move on in the next 12 to 18 months to sustain the time in the Football League, like Harrogate have done. That is probably the best thing to do because they can model themselves on Harrogate. And Andy Woodman has been there for 4 years now, 175 games, I think it is. 183, which is ridiculous at any level. I think that there's probably a cluster of 7 or 8 teams that Bromley will think, we don't want to finish above 2. Let's really finish as high up as we can.
Yeah, I think for Bromley, I think it's just Andy Woodman trusts what he's doing. As you said, he's been at the football club for 4 years, but in the National League, they've always been decent. I think they've had top 10 finishes every single season since he's been there. And, the momentum's massive. I mean, obviously coming straight off a playoff win and rightfully so, I think the boys which got them to the EFL, I think they deserve to have a crack at it with Bromley. And obviously just spoke about momentum, but keeping that going, getting as many points on the board early doors if you are going to have, a little patch where, things aren't so good, at least, you've got those points to fall back on.
Just to let you know, I've not stolen any. What did Andy Woodman say? What if I quote that Andy Woodman said? I've not. I never even heard Andy Woodman even speak. I just know what a gaffer he is. Bradford 0, Salford 0, and not for the first time this season, Josh, we're going to be talking about an official mistake. Salford are yet to score this season. I thought the only option they had was Ben Woodburn with a couple of efforts from long distance. Sarsvich had a couple of chances. But let's be no one's to the bush. It was a poor game. 5 shots on target in the whole game. It was poor. Andy Cook, I think it was with the shot. It's a really good shot, good effort. Negru gets back. Stefan Negru. It's a really, really good, block. But it's over the line, in my opinion. If I'm honest with you, he's probably about that much over. I've seen it at different angles. 16,000 people, home fans wise. Very hard to say no. As you say about Notts County before, it's a big call. What did you think of it?
Mate, huge balls from the referee. I can't believe he escaped the stadium alive at the end of the game. No, like you, I've seen multiple angles and 100% agree that it's gone over the line. But the fact that Negru has got it in his mind from the position he was in to go back and realise that the ball's going to be going there, it's an exceptional piece of defending. It's unbelievable. The block is incredible, and I'm just going to say on that alone, I think he deserves to get away with it. But no, if I was a Bradford fan, 100%, I'd be fuming and they've been robbed. But I'm not taking anything away from the blocks. It is an incredible piece of defending.
Going to Valley Parade, keeping a clean sheet and drawing a game 0-0, a very good point. But when you're 2 games into the season, you've not scored a goal, alarm bells ringing because they're not really creating anything. Carl Robinson came out after the game and said he was pleased with the difference in performance and he thought they looked more like themselves. I didn't really see a moment where they're going to score. And look, they had likes of Lombard, Ben Woodburn, Cole Stockton, Dackers. And I'm looking going, McElhenney, who come on with 25 minutes to go. I'm looking at that squad, I'm thinking, where's the goals going to come from if they want to be at the right end of this table?
Yeah, I think the issue is obviously they've lost Matt Smith, who got like 25 goals last season. They've lost Callum Hendry. They've lost their creative spot in Elliot Watt. But I mean, if we're going to play devil's advocate, I think Salford have had quite a difficult start to the season. Obviously, Port Vale at home isn't the easiest home game you're going to draw if you're going to draw anybody. And then going to Bradford's always tough for anybody. So me personally, I wouldn't look into it too much. But no, I get the signs of it is worrying, but I wouldn't personally look into it too much just because of who they've actually played.
Agree. And I'll let you do the talking point on this one. Tranmere did 6 draws last year. We've already drawn 2. Favoured by a lot of Tranmere fans to go up with 138 points this year. Now, they were favoured to go, look, 2 really good points against Notts County and Port Vale. 2 good opposition. They've kept 2 clean sheets. Not really looked like conceding, not really looked like losing. The creative spot not quite there yet. Maybe missing a certain right winger in Rob Apt, who got 18 goal comps last year. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really dull affair. About as boring as 0-0 comes. I'm just looking at the stats: 54 to 40% possession, 0.58 to 0.23 XG, 14 shots in the whole game, 4 on target. I mean, Tranmere's point of view, it's a great point again. You know, Notts County, Port Vale, 2 teams we expect to be up there come the end of the season. They're taking points off both, kept clean sheets against both. My only issue is against both, they haven't looked like scoring at all. Like, genuinely, I don't remember a chance from either of the games where they've looked like scoring. But on the flip side, they haven't really looked like conceding in either games as well. So, you know, you can say, you know, it's good for defensively, they're really strong, but you know, that's only going to get you so far when you can't convert chances or even create chances that to, you know, go and win games.
We're in the last kind of 15 minutes of the show now. We're going to go through our predictions, and we'll have a table update at the end of next week. The scores will be revealed for the first 3 game weeks. Let us know your predictions for these games down below as I take on Josh. We're not going to do any funny rules like I do with Jake. You can go with whatever you want. Starting off with Notts County against Grimsby. Give me a score prediction, Josh.
I'm going to go Notts County 2-1.
Notts County 2-1. Like that a lot. I'm going to go 2-0 Notts. And then we go to Saturday's games. Crewe, Alex, against Swindon. I'll start with this one. I'm going to go for 2-1 Crewe. Bounce back.
Ooh, I'm going for a 1-1. I'm going for a Crewe domination and Swindon somehow managed to blag a goal.
I think they'll be very cautious, won't they, Crewe? They don't want to lose 5-0 again. Tranmere and Swindon were done. So this is the El Crapico already, isn't it? 9 goals against them in the last game week. Tranmere against Walsall. I'll let you start me on that one.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to say that this is up there as one of the games of the weekend.
Yeah,
I personally
the
think
league
so.
Against unbeaten Tranmere.
Yeah, Walsall have been fantastic so far, but I've actually got them to lose this game 1-0. I think Tranmere keep it tight and they nick it.
Yeah, Walsall 5 goals scored, not really like conceding. They did play Morecambe in the first game and a great result away at Swindon in the second game. Barrow against, we play Port Vale. I'm going to go 2-1 Tranmere in that one. And Barrow, Port Vale, I'll go first in that one. I'm going to go 2-0 Vale.
Ooh, I'm going for a 1-1.
Bradford City, Bromley. Talk to me. Welcome to the Football League. What an away trip that is for Bromley.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day out for the Bromley boys, but I think they're going to leave empty-handed and they're going to find out what League 2 is all about, and they're going to lose 3-1.
I'm going to go 2-0. Cheltenham, Wimbledon. I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Robins.
Yeah, I like it, mate. I'm the same as you. I think we'll be good at home this season. I think our away form will be pretty poo.
What are you going for? 2-1.
Yeah,
Chesterfield, Salford. Like this a lot. I think this will be 2-0 Chesterfield, and Chesterfield 7 points from the first 9. I think Chesterfield are going to be very, very good at home this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I got 2-0 down as well.
Colchester against Harrogate Town. I'll let you start off with that one.
I've gone for a simple 2-0 win for Colchester.
I'm going to go for 2-1. Doncaster, Morecambe. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Doncaster. Morecambe not scoring in the first 3 games, I believe.
Yeah, I've gone for a Donny annihilation job again, 4-0.
Fleetwood Town, Gillingham.
That's up there for one of the games of the weekend as well. I've got Fleetwood to win 1-0. I think it's going to be a similar game to the Grimsby game, to be honest with you, mate.
I'm going to go for 1-1. I think very tight, and Fleetwood need Ronan Coughlin back. They need some bodies up front. MK Dons Carlisle, one of the games of the weekend as well. I'm going to go for 2-0 to MK Dons to get back up and running. Look, you're going to lose 2 games back-to-back in the course of the season. You just so happen to have lost the first 2 games, so everyone panics. Don't panic. It's normal. It's just another 2 games. You've got 44 games to go. 2-0 Dons.
Yeah, I've got 2-1 MK Dons. I think that the fact that their pitch is so big, I just see them pulling Carlisle left, right and centre and just, moving the shape about.
I see Newport getting back-to-back wins. When one comes, they're like blooming Butler's buses. When one comes, another one comes alongside as well because he's blooming late again, isn't he? I'm going to go for Newport County 2, Accrington 1.
Do you know what? This is actually my game of the League 2 weekend.
Yeah, you got a lot of them, haven't you?
No, this is genuinely. I was thinking this before writing these down, but Newport Aki looks tasty, and I've got 2-2.
Right. Okay. So let us know some of your predictions down below. Right. 8 minutes left of the stream. Get some Q&A questions down below and get liking the stream. But before we do so, Josh, plug your TikTok because a very interesting TikTok video went up yesterday. I really enjoyed that.
Is that again?
Get you to plug your TikTok. You made a really good video yesterday, didn't you?
Did I? Have I got the Napper's approval?
Oh, mate, it's mental, isn't it? I never realised it. So Duffy scoring 2 own goals for Blackburn like 8 years ago. But how has he not been investigated for that?
Mate, honestly, that video did the rounds. I think it's on like 215k at the moment.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, so if you want to go see that video where Duffy got into some interesting business, it's Josh Talks Here Foul, and Twitter's the same. Yeah, waffle about low league football.
Absolutely. And if you are new to this channel, get subscribing down below, the home of League 1 and League 2 content as well. And a big thank you for Josh for joining me as always tonight. So get your questions in for the last 5 minutes of the show. Luke thinks Port Vale will win the league. Has any of your predictions changed, Josh, for the first 2 weeks of the season?
No,
I know it's early. Has anything
ask me mid-October and then I might give you a different answer. But I'm not reading into anything until about 10 games in.
Yeah. Hi, Ben. Hi, Josh. Hi to the biggest fan.
Hi, Jack.
If we keep a clean sheet, Nappers will go into the... I tell you what, if we win 1-0, wow, come on the cards. Another local game. 1,000 miles Gillingham have to travel this week to Morecambe and Fleetwood. I think it's 500 to Morecambe, 500 to Fleetwood, which is unbelievable. Great question here from Scott. Which game are you most looking forward to this season?
What game am I most looking forward to this season? What, just in terms of the general, what should we say, our own club or just the general?
Yeah, your own club.
Who am I looking forward to playing this season? I don't know. That's a question I haven't really thought about. Do you know what? I've never been to Valley Parade, so I'm quite excited to go there. And I can't believe I'm saying I'm excited to go to Bradford, but I've heard it's a decent ground, so I want to see what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have gone Notts County, but it got ruined a bit with it being on the old Sunday. So it's still a good trip, and we obviously got there a bit late. But Bradford again's at a poor time. I'm looking forward to Newport. Hopefully going to go there for the weekend potentially. Or Harrogate near the end of this. I look for more the start of the season when there's loads to play for, games to look forward to. At the end of the season, kind of,
not excited to come to the EV.
Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see you. Get a picture because I look about 7'4". I thought now Bradley Dack is a great signing. He's obviously got his old shirt number back, which is great to see. He's a quality player, and if fit, he's the best player in League 2. My issue is with Bradley Dack. He's played 70 times in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, my thoughts on that as well is if you can get a fit Bradley Dack, then I agree he's the best player in the league. But, fitness is the big issue. I don't even know how many games he played last season, and he's into his 30s now, so I'm not even sure if he is going to still be the same player which he once was now, but he's obviously had some injuries.
And he was really good at Blackburn the first couple of years and never really hit it since. I think maybe you see these clubs getting a bit older and they're not the same. They don't have the same drive as they used to. And that's most of the reason. They don't have the same drive and the hunger as they are when they're a younger player. So,
I reckon it is, mate. I reckon Olivia Atwood ruined his career.
Yeah. You got chased up for a female. I would, to be fair. I'd quit all this for Olivia Atwood, believe me. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Gillingham got 8 injuries, going to be fun. We've got potentially coughing back. Don't get me excited. Your own club. Yeah, for me, I'd say Newport away. No need for you to worry about buyers. You've got an unbelievable squad, Port Vale, so they'll be up there. Get bounce, people. See you later, Luca. Thanks for joining the stream. Any team that you think might, surprise you in the first two games, what would you say?
Say that again, mate.
The two teams maybe a couple of teams that have surprised you?
Newport, 100%. Newport have surprised me, and
I think Accrington for me for how much good.
Yeah, probably just for value, the fact that they're quite exciting, Accrington. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. To be fair, I think Newport though will surprise a lot of people, and I'm already starting to kind of wish I didn't put them to finish 24th.
That is the Danny Cowler factor, and I went to watch him, and the way he stood in applauding for 2 minutes, and all the fans came out. I thought, this is amazing. This is and they've added quality to the squad as well. So it's really good to see. I think Colchester will have a really good, interesting team. I think they'll score a lot of goals. They'll lose a few games along the way from playing the football they do, but they'll be fun to watch and they'll be united as one.
What was their attendance on Saturday? Because obviously, gates have been down last couple of years.
I think it was quite strong from what I know. It looked, quite full behind the goal. I think it's probably about 3,500, 4,000. I think 4,500 it was, but MK must have took a chunk as well.
The thing is, which I find about Colchester is when, before we got promoted, obviously back in 20,
they were in League One a few years ago.
They were one of the best sides in the league, Colchester, for a few years. They were that side who you didn't want to face in the season because they were always up there and they always had a good team. Obviously, they had the likes of Luke Norris when he was a bit younger. They had Sammy Schmoddix, they had Harry Powell, even Frank Newble when he was a bit of a baller.
Yeah, they did. They had, and especially when they made Schmoddix as well, didn't they? I wonder what they're thinking right now with them. They'll get a chunk of that fee as well, won't they? I'm guessing.
I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of Colchester fans are annoyed about it because obviously
they'll get a bit of a chunk on it from a sell, because even though he's not a sell-on fee, you still have to distribute to other clubs like Peterborough for the Ivan Toney deal. If he goes anywhere this year, they said they have to give some to Newcastle, and then he goes on. He's yeah. Look, he's lost one game, mate, and it's underdogs. They're going to do that. What team do you think Crawley? Which team? I think Newport. If anyone, because they are underdogs. Everyone expected them to go down. They had a poor season last year. Everyone's putting bottom of the league. Similar type of manager, the way they want to play. Young manager. I don't know if you'd agree.
I don't think anyone comes close to Crawley. I think it's hard. The way that Scott Lindsay got that team to play, it was so strange to see it in League Two. You got a bunch of lads who, in truth, and I call myself a little EFL nerd, and I hadn't even heard of most of their lads they had playing last season. It was this unknown team who were playing really, really good football, playing teams off the park, playing triangles, playing a high press. Newport obviously have gone down a similar approach of recruiting from non-league and the Welsh leagues, and Jardim's a bit of a wild card because nobody's heard of him. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they play similar type of football, but I think they give similar sort of vibes that it's an unknown thing and that it's a hungry team who want to prove everybody wrong. And I think a team which does want to prove everybody wrong is quite a scary team because they've almost got nothing to lose.
Absolutely. So, favourite player in League Two, bar Cheltenham.
Favourite player in League Two, Luke Molyneux. And I'm not a Donny fan before you.
Yeah, Molyneux's up there for me. Jack Payne. I like midfielders who get on the ball and play. Matty Palmer. He's up there. He was excellent yesterday. Look, anyone who knows me, I will try and be honest. I try and see as a game as I take. And yesterday, look, I probably come across salty. I think I said the referees never look so proud to give a penalty. It was a penalty, just the way the referee went. He looked so giddy. I've never seen a referee so giddy to give a decision in my life. But Matty Palmer's up there. I don't like Jody Jones at all. He annoys me because he's so good at football. He's like, stop being, we get it. You can do flicks. Yeah, shut up. Leave me alone. You're scaring me. But yeah, I'd probably say Palmer, or who was the other one that I said? Yeah, I'll go Matty Palmer in midfield.
I'm going to ask you a question, Nappers.
Go on then.
Jody Jones, right? Because he's an interesting one. Obviously, did really well at Dagenham where he broke through. He went to Coventry and was really solid for them. And then obviously, I think he did his ACL and he was out for like 2 years. And obviously, he dropped down to I think he went to Oxford. And then he couldn't get a game there, so went to Notts County. Now, obviously, he's a Malta international and arguably one of the best players in League Two. Do you think he's a little bit unambitious staying at Notts County and playing in League Two of a player of his quality who could probably, I'm going to say, play in the Championship quite comfortably?
Yeah. I've got a big saying, and I think people know it by now, that everyone's in League Two or League One for a reason, and that's not being disrespectful. And I count that as, well, Jody Jones' injuries. I always say, well, they're in League Two or League One because of injuries, because of age. Not being, maybe are they too young, or are they getting towards the old of the career? Another one, just not maybe being good enough in certain areas, not being given an opportunity yet, or maybe a bit of loyalty as well. And I think with him, his injuries, a bit of loyalty, and being the best player. And being, like I said this about Brendan, you're playing every week, you're going to get goals, you're going to get assists, you're going to get notice. And if he maybe stepped up to the Championship, is Jody Jones if he goes to an Oxford, say, or a Derby, or club maybe at the bottom end, or even go to the top end of League One, a Bolton, a Stockport, a Wrexham, those types of clubs, I've only named 3 there, Lincoln, doesn't fit the system. Does he really, does he get into the team? Then you've got to look at it. Well, how many clubs play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1? I'd say maybe over half the teams. So if you look at League One, for example, I'll go on to League One now, and I'll tell you how many play a back 4. So I'll look at it. Stockport play a back 4. Huddersfield play a back 5. Crawley, I think, back 4, back 5. They keep changing it. Charlton, I think, are in a back 4 process at the minute. And Birmingham 4 back. Wrexham I think have been playing 3. Did they play 3 yesterday?
Yeah, they played 5 at the back yesterday.
Yeah.
They played 5 at the back yesterday. They were so deep.
Peterborough, he might shoot at Peterborough. I think that's probably the most likely outfit for Jody Jones. I do think maybe a bit if he gets, I think he needs to look at, how old is he now? 27, 28, I'd say.
Yeah, he's pushing on. I was going to say, Jake's just said Jody Jones left wing, but I would say he's more of a left wing back than probably a winger, to be honest with you, because I think he's good going forward and defensively.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a workhorse. He can play set anywhere in midfield as well.
Yeah, but he can play beyond the strikers too.
Maybe he wants to play there so he get the glory. But no, I get what you mean. I think he's a very good player, and I think that they're not very reliant on him, and they need to get some more. I think a poacher. I think they need a different foot. Like they've got McGoldrick, who's playing like as a number 10 behind, Jatta, and they've got a lot of, like you say, big players up there. So yeah, a great question. You should do this YouTube TikTok thing more. It feels weird. A co-host asking me a good question. I found one. 3 years it's taken me. 3 years. That's another thing that got said to me yesterday. I think he scored 2 goals last year.
Yeah, but I think he made for me, Jody Jones, I really wouldn't look at his goal scoring rate. The amount of chances he creates, big chances.
He probably should get 40 this season.
You don't need him to score. You got other blokes to go put the ball in the back of the net for what he's creating.
Yeah, absolutely so. How many players do you reckon Cheltenham need before the window shuts, by the way?
Well, we need a left centre back, so that's 1. We need left wing back cover, so that's 2. Probably get another body in midfield because Harry Power's out injured, so that's 3. And then we're probably 3 away, to be honest with you. I'm quite happy with the strikers we got, and I was saying this to the boys on Saturday that you look at our strikers: Dawson, Taylor, Bowman, Miller. Now, we were saying theoretically, all 4 of those could get 10. They're not going to get 10 goals each, but that's 4 strikers who could get 10 goals. I think
get 30 goals out of those 4.
That's what I mean. We've got 4 goal scorers there, and we've got a nice range of, Dawson's the more mobile one who, is quick and he'll get in behind, but, decent in the air. Bowman is a bit of a chess piece, but, he puts his body round, knows the league really well. Miller, absolute workhorse. And then Matty Taylor, what is he, 35 years old, but he's a luxury player. Bloke's finishing is outrageous.
I think he's finished away at Cambridge away last year, where he got it on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
And
on
he
his
just
left
smashed
foot
it
and
into the
banged
far
it.
corner.
Yeah.
You won 1-0, didn't you? I think was it January, February time. It was a great win for you. That I think Fleetwood are a striker away because we've just Meepo is. I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you.
He was at
Vale.
like Port Vale or Donny, wasn't he?
Yeah, both of them got
was he
relegated.
at both of it? Yeah.
He's not much football recently. Lonergan's all right to bring in and out. Coughlin is the main one. We need Graydon's good. I like Graydon. Graydon has been our best player in these 2 games by some distance. Him and Wiradoo have been the 2. Graydon won't get mentioned, or Grado as they call him, but I go them. I think we need a striker and another someone. I don't think we'll sign a centre half, but I think we need another centre half. I know we've got 6, Kershaw, before you say anything, but a couple of young uns. I don't think he fancies Finley Potter.
I've got another question for you as well.
Go on then.
So obviously, I look at Fleetwood's side. Right, this is one which I'm actually interested in. I look at Fleetwood's side, and a lot of their side and former players are from the League of Ireland. Do you think, because this window you haven't really gone down that route, have you sort of cut ties with that sort of route?
No. Well, I don't know if you know, Fleetwood also own Waterford. So that's
okay. I didn't know that.
If you look at Phoenix Patterson and Ronan Coffin, both came from Waterford. So our sister club, and we've sent like Bagley over there, Melissa Nowhere, Sam Glenfield. Say again.
Did Harrington go? I know Harrington went out.
Harrington was somewhere else. And we bought, but then you get the Irish market as well. So we bought promising from Bowes that we identified for Waterford, and we thought, no, this lad can play here. And we've identified likes of, we signed Lonergan originally to loan him back to Waterford, but we couldn't. So he's our player. So, and he had to play a minimum amount of games, apparently. So he's staying our player, and Choyan likes him, and he's a good player in a partnership. Grading the same. I think we needed players that know this league, and we've signed 7. I think we signed Virtue, Mackenzie Hunt, Medley looks good. I thought it'd be very dangly, but he's very, very good. Bolton was superb when he came on yesterday. So, you know, Mark Helm is brilliant. You got Meepo as well.
Bonds.
Another one. Bonds. There you are. I missed the most obvious one out. Bonds. 7. We do need another 2. I wanted 10 when we need a loan signing. We've not signed anyone on loan yet.
I'm really interested about that Waterford connection. Did you ever play them in pre-season?
So we played them in February last year. So that is just before their pre-season. We played our players. We played Pondy, Nathan Pondy, who's like 48. He's about 40, I think. And he's just gone on loan to a dual registration with Bamber Bridge and there's another club. In the non-league pyramid. Someone helped me out as a dual registration to help him out. And it was his 500th game for Fleetwood because he only made 499 and left for Salford. So never got to make his 500th. We played him once, and we played him once over there in a pre-season friendly that I went over to Watford last year. So, no, I like the connection. I wasn't sure of it at first, but Phoenix, Lonergan, the Irish connection has really helped us. And I think you've seen a lot of it in football. Lincoln, like a Lincoln connection as well. We will come to some of these questions. Lincoln should take the lap to see our horse. Do you not a fan of him? On the transfer, even after a goal, Well, Charlie Adam played. No, he said he might. I asked him about that in the podcast, which you can see exclusively on Friday, Tony. And Drake could score 20 goals in League 2. Yeah, is he a presser? Harrington, big player for us. We have 6 centre half. Yeah, how many are good enough? Do you think? If we're, I thought Harrogate yesterday was terrific. I'll give you that. I don't want a 10. I just want a striker. And a centre half. That's it.
Mate, you should 100% play. If you're going to play a number 10, play Ryan Broom there.
Kendall, that's it. Thank you. I just want a striker and sign him on loan. I get not having 5 loan players. I just think we need 1 loan player. Well, I know you want your own players, but I just think it's an opportunity to get a player that's too good for you that you can't get anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got 4, and we play a back 3. We've got a squad of 22, Jack. Wiradoo went down injured yesterday. Graydon went down feeling his calf. Bonds was going down at times. It's like, I'd have him.
He's injury prone as well, isn't he, at Bonds? He'll miss like 15 games a season for injury.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he dangled out his leg and it came to one of their lads. And I think it was Crowley with the shot. And he's dangling over his leg. Who'll be manager of the year? Ooh, Charlie Adam. I tell you what, when I interviewed him the other day, top man. He came and sat with me earlier when I was doing my notes just to see how I was, and was asking me a few questions. Then, like the way he just was speaking to me, and like the way he was telling me the way he wants to play, and he's just a top guy. And I've never had that with a manager at Fleetwood. I've never wanted a manager to do as well since Rosler. Genuinely, I really hope Charlie Adam does well. I think Mark Bonner deserves to do well. I think Flynn will have a good year with you. Jardine, there you are. There's another one.
I think if Colchester get top 7, Cowleys are in there, and I think that if Bromley finished top half, Andy Woodman.
Yeah, I like that. Anyway, we're going to leave you there. If you've enjoyed this League One instalment, we've done a bit of extra Q&A, which I enjoyed. Thanks, Josh, for joining me, mate.
Welcome, mate. Happy to be here.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please drop me a like on your way out. It will be massively appreciated. How many are we on? We're on 34 likes. Drop me a like, a subscription as we go out. I'll be back later this weekend for some more EFL content as well. Until next time, I'll see you later. Up the Cods.
Up the Robins.
Let's go. See you next Monday.